Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the September 13th edition of Carolina Week.
It's been nearly a decade since terror plagued our country. We have a Carolina student's story of her dad's brush with death.
Plus, we'll tell you why residents of one Chapel Hill neighborhood are opposing the relocation of the homeless shelter.
In sports, the men's soccer team kicked off conference play in Raleigh. We'll show you what happened at NC State.
And weathercaster Joe Belanger will tell us if we can expect these pleasant temperatures to stick around.
All that and the student who provides the musical background to campus life.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
A weekend of remembrance on the UNC campus. Good evening, I'm Andrea Lutka.
And I'm Claudia Rupsich. 9 years after terrorist attacks against the World Trade Center and 2 other locations, emotions remain raw for those whose families were affected. Our Carly Stevenson has the story of one Carolina student who's thankful she didn't lose her dad in the Building 5 collapse. He evaded death by less than 1 hour.
UNC senior Katie Jacopi was in the 7th grade at the time. Jacopi's dad, Sergeant Tori Jacopi, was a member of the Manhattan South Task Force in Lower Manhattan.
My dad worked the night shift, so he had been home at the time when it happened, but he was called back into work. So he wasn't home when I got home.
Tori Jacopi recovered bonds and documents on September 12th from Building 5 at 4:30 p.m., less than an hour before parts of the building collapsed.
One of the buildings he was in, he actually, it collapsed later that afternoon, so, he could have died then. But, yeah, it was just really scary.
Sergeant Tori Jacopi passed away 6 years ago. His death wasn't directly related to September 11th, but Katie says her dad suffered from lung problems because of the air quality.
It definitely affected my family personally. That's what my dad saw.
UNC students paid tribute to victims of the attacks this weekend. Students placed 1,623 flags on Polk Place to commemorate the lives of lost loved ones. Katie's family was one of many who felt the aftermath of 9/11.
And just some of the stories, one of my neighbors down the streets, he was working in the Twin Towers and escaped and everything. So it's crazy stories.
And we're reminded of that sad day, not just on September 11th, but every time we see examples of sacrifice. In Chapel Hill, I'm Carly Stevenson, Carolina Week.
The September 11 Families Association hopes to reach a resolution to the sensitive issue of a proposed mosque near Ground Zero.
A candlelight vigil often serves as a way for local community members to remember the past and make a statement for the future. The Chapel Hill Interfaith Unitarian Church hosted a vigil Friday night in the Justice and Peace Plaza. A crowd gathered to protest the threatened burning of Qurans at a church in Florida. But more importantly, they commemorated the lives of those who died in the September 11th attacks. The Quran burning did not happen, but members of churches of different faiths offered words of wisdom
The Muslims, the Christians,
from their respective religious or inspirational texts to motivate people to embrace the nation's differences. Vigil leader Mybrit Johnson hopes this event helped break down cultural barriers.
What's so amazing about an event like this is you have people who've never met each other before, and they can look around and realize I am in community with all kinds of people I didn't know.
Organizers say that realization can help all of us overlook the things that are different about our neighbors and help us concentrate on the things we have in common.
Giving a mere 15 minutes of your time could help save someone's life. On Friday afternoon, Delta Sigma Theta sorority and Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity incorporated sponsored a bone marrow registration drive with the Be the Match registry. To become a potential bone marrow donor, students completed a 3-step process: information sheet, consulting meeting, and the swab. Both organizations collected money for cancer research in honor of fallen Tar Heel Brian Rogers, who recently died of leukemia. Delta Sigma Theta President Amber Clifford was pleased with the success of the event and hopes students will remember the lives of cancer victims.
We really hope that people, one, raise awareness about bone marrow registry and the lack of minorities in it. That's key. Two, we hope that Brian's legacy is continued and passed on.
More than 100 students joined the registry on Friday, and the group raised more than $500 for cancer research throughout the week.
Beginning this fall, students will be able to use Connect Carolina to apply for graduation. Before, students used the one-step graduation system done through Student Central. Now, students will go through Connect Carolina's Student Center. Step 1 in the new process is identifying your academic program. Step 2 is finding your school or college, then following the instructions from the school or college.
Good news for upcoming grads. Carolina is near the top of rankings for universities, giving their grads a good shot at employment. Carolina made the cut on the Wall Street Journal's top 25 recruiters list, but just barely. The Heels came in at number 25. Penn State, Texas A&M, and Illinois topped the list. Most of the top 25 have specializations in engineering, a major UNC doesn't offer. Carolina's rival, NC State, is tied at number 19 with the University of Virginia. Duke was not on the list. That's just too bad.
And coming up after the break,
we'll show you where you can enjoy the peace of nature while admiring new works of art.
Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Lead paint poisoning affects over 1 million children today. Just 3 granules of lead dust can harm your child. If your home was built before 1978, log on to leadfreekids.org.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
Yeah, something like that.
Plus, not in my backyard. That's what some Chapel Hill homeowners are saying about a proposed homeless shelter in their neighborhood. Rachel Nash has more.
Jason Kirk and his family live in a neighborhood off Homestead Road. His kids play in Homestead Park, and he's worried about the possibility of a homeless shelter near his house.
It would basically concentrate all of the what you could call sort of at-risk social services in Chapel Hill and Orange County. It would concentrate them in about 1/5 of 1 square mile.
An addiction recovery center and a women's shelter are already located within a mile of Kirk's house. The proposed site of the shelter is near the corner of Homestead Road and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
It's just woods now, but the Interfaith Council hopes this will be the new location for the homeless shelter.
Can't re-enter society or become independent unless you have, you're connected somehow with the community.
The IFC runs the homeless shelter on Rosemary Street, where Mark Gerald has lived for about a year.
We don't never plan to be homeless.
Gerald thinks the shelter needs more space to fit more men. The new shelter would add 22 additional beds, but the numbers aren't Kirk's main issue.
There wasn't any public involvement in the process. It was just sort of announced as a done deal.
Chapel Hill Mayor Mark Kleinsmith disagrees. He says the town council has to approve the site before workers can build.
The only thing that's happened is the stuff that we all know.
What we know is the decision process could take 2 years, and Kirk says he'll continue to fight the whole time. In Chapel Hill for Carolina Week, I'm Rachel Nash.
Kleinschmidt says the city has to approve a special use permit before building can begin. The permit is in the approval process.
6 local chefs are sharing some of their favorite recipes. They showcased them at the 8th annual chef event at the Carborough's Farmers Market on Saturday. People lined up early to get a taste of the free food. Chefs served everything from steaming Tuscan bean soup from Il Palio in Chapel Hill to spicy okra and tomatoes from Neil's Deli in Carborough. Food connoisseurs of all ages showed up for the tasty treats, sure to find something they liked. A pumpkin ice cream with seasonal toppings was a particular favorite. Soon you'll be able to find the recipes on the Carborough Farmers Market website. Oh, and don't forget to recycle plastic utensils when you're done.
Art returns to its origins in Chapel Hill's new sculpture exhibit at the Botanical Gardens. It's an opportunity for natural materials to be transformed into works of art and then displayed in a woodland habitat. An award ceremony at the Botanical Gardens launched the 22nd annual Fall Sculpture Display. Visitors can admire new works of art, such as this clay figure called Pan's Consort, representing thought, passion, and chances. Amidst wildflowers, visitors can learn about how the artist transformed this found wood into a dragon in flight. In nature's wonderland, people can find mythical clay, magical glass, and life-size metal works of art. Chess, anyone? Artists like Cynthia Aldrich interpret the theme celebrating life's forces in order to cherish and preserve nature.
To take something from the earth, make something beautiful or contemplative with it, and have it be resting in the place from which it came or a similar place completes the circle.
The unique sculptures will be on display through November 13th. Well, that's some beautiful sculptures they have in the garden, wouldn't you say?
Let's hope they have a good weather. Sportscaster Joe Belanger joins us. What are we looking at?
Well, if you're going out for some sports, it does look pretty good. Weather is looking even better. We have some beautiful weather coming up on the rest of this week. Good chance to get out there and throw a frisbee around. We'll talk more about it coming up after the break.
Congratulations. I'm sure you'll have many happy years here.
Except for you, because you'll be gone 3 years from now, struck down by the same disease that got your father. Sadly, it could have been detected early with a simple test.
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
There's also an extended warranty option. There's just no need for you to get that. You failed to get the test that you needed at the doctor, so you won't be around in 2 years. Okay, sign here, please.
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
Escucha Smokey antes de tratar.
Solo tú.
No juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego. No hay nada para un pobre conejo asustado, a un pobre ratón sin casa en que vivir. Si un hermoso bosque es lo que deseas, no juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego.
Solo tú puedes prevenir los fuegos forestales.
¡Fuego!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weather forecaster Joe Belanger. What a great way to start off this work week. This Monday was beautiful, a lot of sunshine, and that sunny forecast is going to continue right on through the rest of the week, right up into the weekend. In fact, there is no rain in sight in the next 5 to 7 days, and that's great news if you have any outdoor activities coming up. However, it's not very good news for this rain deficit that we're in. Currently, we are about 7 inches shy of where we should be for this time of year. It's almost like a desert out there, but it will hopefully will welcome any kind of rain we can get at any point. Unfortunately, right now, it doesn't look any signs of rain anywhere in the southeast right now. North Carolina, South Carolina, all dry. No activity in regards to clouds or rain, mostly due to this high pressure system that is sitting over our area right now. It is making itself right at home in the Carolinas, keeping things dry and warm. It'll be a real comfortable week. Maybe 90 degrees will be the maximum amount of temperatures that we're going to see. So nothing too crazy for us. It is getting a little crazy down in the tropics, though, right now. We're watching 3 systems right now. The first one is over in the Caribbean. It's about a 40% chance of getting itself together into a named storm. That would be Carl if it does so. We'll keep an eye on that one. We're also watching Julia. We just named that one last night, so that's a newly formed storm right off the coast of Africa. We'll watch that as it moves across the Atlantic. Right now, our biggest concern is Hurricane Igor, right in the center of the Atlantic. It is a Category 4 hurricane, maximum sustained winds of 150 miles an hour. It is making its way west-northwest. Hopefully, it should stay out at sea, shouldn't really affect us. Mostly Bermuda, we're keeping an eye on it affecting. We'll watch it as the week progresses, but right now, a very strong, organized storm. Back at home, no storms in sight for us. A lot of clear skies no matter where you are in the state tomorrow. West of the Triangle, Asheville hovering around 80 degrees. Charlotte and Greensboro, upper 80s for you. Over on the eastern side of the state, looks to be a great day. If you can get out of class early, definitely try to hit up the beach. Outer Banks, Wilmington, Greenville, all coming in with upper 80s and sunny skies. Back in our region for tonight, calm winds, clear skies. We'll lose a lot of that heat we got today, so it'll be a little chilly, about 61 for our low. Tomorrow we'll jump right back up to 90 degrees. Calm winds, beautiful day, similar to today, maybe a little bit warmer. And the 5-day forecast is showing that pattern continue right on through the rest of your week. We're watching 90-degree weather right through Friday. We do cool down a little bit for Saturday, but really these temperatures are nothing compared to what we've been used to this summer. It's been a very hot summer, so even 90 feels pretty comfortable out there.
Definitely.
Certainly not bad at all, I wouldn't say.
Let's hope that hurricane diminishes and goes away.
Yeah, we shouldn't be too concerned with that. Definitely enjoy the weather that we can have right now.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The nonprofit organization El Pueblo Incorporated hosts an annual Fiesta del Pueblo to highlight Hispanic culture. With traditional Latin American dancing, singing, and foods, people were able to get a taste of Latino life at this weekend's event. The two-day festival also had educational programs about health, science, and public safety. More than 100 organizations were at the event. Both adults and children got a chance to play games, do arts and crafts, and win free prizes. Maria Bejar helped organize La Fiesta and says events like this are important to the Latino community.
Everyone is equal here. Nobody is less, nobody is more. Everybody, we are like brothers and sisters, and that is we try to help the community.
Overall, more than 200 organizations showed up and about 20,000 people attended the festival.
All right, well, sportscaster Justin Page joins us. Justin, how's it looking out there?
Yeah, Justin, not too much action going on with sports this weekend.
No, Claudia, I'd have to agree. I'm sure all the UNC fans kind of disappointed. Not a lot of teams to see this week. Most of the teams were on the road, and the football team, actually, they got some good news today. Coming up after the break, we'll let you know who exactly will suit up for Saturday's game against Georgia Tech.
The odds of this daughter of a clergyman spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org.
How you feel? How you feel?
I'm feeling good. Spin me, spin me.
Got you.
Oh, goodness. Oh.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Ooh, okay, I stole a cheeseburger once. I'm a dog.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Justin Page. After picking up only 24 yards against LSU last weekend, the UNC running game today got a huge boost. At his weekly press conference, Coach Butch Davis said running back Shaun Drone has been cleared to play for Saturday's game against Georgia Tech. Drone missed last week's game due to questions about his eligibility related to the NCAA investigations. Drone led the Heels in rushing in 2008, but Coach Davis says the team will try to ease Drone back into the offense.
We're going to try to get them back into the flow of things. There's been a period of time over the last couple of weeks where, because of the question of whether or not if and when he would be available, some of his roles during practice have been significantly minimized.
Now, if you're a UNC football fan, by now you're probably aware that the program is undergoing 2 separate investigations, a situation that cost the Heels several starters in last week's game against LSU. So with the team having the weekend off, we wanted to give you a better understanding of the investigations and what it means for the team moving forward. Now, the first investigation involves agents and whether or not some players had improper contact with them. NCAA rules prohibit student athletes from accepting gifts or benefits from sources outside the athletics department. This part of the investigation started in July after defensive tackle Marvin Austin bragged about a lavish Miami nightclub party on his Twitter account in March. This part of the investigation led to the resignation of defensive line coach John Blake. Blake is actually close friends with Gary Wichard, one of the agents in question. Austin, who you see right there, number 9, the big fella, is suspended indefinitely from the team. However, Coach Butch Davis says it's because Austin broke team rules. NCAA representatives have also questioned wide receiver Greg Little regarding contact with agents, and for now, he remains ineligible. An email trail from the agent investigation led to the second and perhaps more serious investigation involving academic misconduct. As many as 11 players could have had a tutor write papers for them. So as it stands now, 6 players and some notable starters right there on that list, Robert Quinn, Kendrick Burney, they remain ineligible, while 6 others remain in question. Now the players in question, as Shaun Drone was during last week's game, could suit up for Saturday's game against Georgia Tech. On a much brighter note, though, the defending national champion field hockey team lost some key starters, but as reporter Emily Hawks tells us, that hasn't stopped the team from chasing even more success this season.
Coach Karen Shelton understands each season brings a different team dynamic to the turf. Her goal is to mold each team to allow the players to maximize their potential.
I think we're going to be one of those teams competing for the title. I'm excited about it. I think if I had a concern, it is our goal scoring. I think that we're going to be as good, if not better, a defensive unit.
The team is coming off a national championship with a 20-2 record. But Shelton is looking forward to this season and pushing her team to reach even greater heights, especially on defense.
Last year, the team had 12 shutouts in 22 games. If they protect the goal the way they want to, they can break the UNC record of 16 shutouts this year.
To be a great defense, you need to have a sense of pride, and you need to have a goal. I wouldn't have challenged this group if I didn't think that they were capable of achieving it. It's not good enough to simply win the game, but really try and defend your goal at all costs.
UNC lost key seniors from last year, number 22 Danielle Forward and number 10 Melanie Brill, but has reloaded with 6 first-year players who already show immense promise. Number 24 Marta Momberg has started every game and already has 1 goal and 5 assists. Team captain Caitlin Falgowski knows that with such talented newcomers, this team has the skills and work ethic to go all the way.
I think that we definitely have a lot of talent and potential, and we come out here every day working hard, and I think that's always a goal of ours at the end of the season to hopefully be number 1.
Currently ranked number 1 in the country by the NCAA, the Tar Heels have already shut out Michigan, Iowa, and Wake Forest. They don't plan to stop there. The Heels will try to break the 16-game shutout record. That's improbable, but not impossible. In Chapel Hill, I'm Emily Hawks, Carolina Week.
The field hockey team is currently undefeated with a record of 5-0. 3 of those wins were shutouts. The men's soccer team is starting off conference play on the right foot. It was standing room only in Raleigh Friday night. Look at the crowd, fans everywhere, even standing up on parking decks to watch the Heels take on the Wolfpack. Getting physical early on. Look at Eddie Ababio. Gets knocked down right here, but you would hear from him in just a second. Watch Alex Dixon right here. Kicks the rocket NC State keeper comes up with a save, but Ababio gets the rebound and puts the Hills up 1-0. But NC State wasn't going away without a fight. Second half, they get physical and had 7 shots on goal. Lucky for UNC, keeper Scott Goodwin wasn't going to let this one get away. Look at this header, and then he comes up with the saves. Hills get the shutout 1-0. After the game, Coach Elmar Bolowich says the team, for right now, they're staying short-sighted. You're now 1-0 in the ACC. Where do you go from here?
2-0 next week.
Oh, sounds good. Thank you. The Hills take on the Duke Blue Devils Friday night at 6:30 down the road in Durham. Tar Heel Athletics were traveling all across the country this weekend, and because they weren't in Chapel Hill for you to watch them, we've got some scores for you. Women's soccer traveled to California this weekend. Jet lag obviously didn't affect the Heels, though. They shut out Cal Poly on Friday and San Diego State on Sunday, keeping it in gear. #1 UNC remains undefeated. Women's volleyball, meanwhile, was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for the Tiger Classic. The Heels dropped their first match against LSU, but got it together with wins against New Mexico State and Rice. They finished second in that tournament. The #1 ranked field hockey team dominated the turf in Pennsylvania this weekend in the Vonnie Gross Classic. They took out Villanova and Westchester, and no surprise here, they remain undefeated. So obviously, we've come to expect nothing less from the field hockey team. They're just outstanding resume they got going.
Well, that's always great to hear. Keeping it up.
All right, well, thanks so much, Justin, for bringing us all that great reports.
No problem.
All right, well, most of you know the story of the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Coming up, we'll introduce you to UNC's own version of the mythical Bellkeeper.
Keep it.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.
I understand you need a little help with your mortgage. Want to avoid foreclosure. Candy? Well, you know, you're in luck. We're experts in this sort of thing. Mortgage, rigmarole, whatnot. Why don't we get a contract? Who wants a contract?
Here you go, Pete.
Thanks, Betty.
Right a toner.
If you're facing foreclosure, talk to the right people. Speak with HUD-approved housing counselors free of charge at 888-995-HOPE.
So, Andrea, I hear you took a trip to the bell tower this weekend.
Yes, I did. You know, we hear those bells around campus every day. I was just wondering how that all works, so I did take a trip up there to find out who's behind it all.
If the Carolina Spirit had a soundtrack, it would include the sound of bells ringing across campus. But did you ever wonder who's behind all that ringing? His name is Brian Vanderjute, and he has a key to the bell tower.
I try not to toot my own horn all that much. It's kind of conceited. But if someone asks, I'll say, yeah, I run the bell tower.
Brian's official title is Master Bell Ringer, although he doesn't actually ring the 14 bells.
Back when the bells were still rung by hand, you had to run these ropes up here, which would go back through there and down through here to the pulleys.
He does program them and even gets to try out new songs.
I played the Top Gun theme before, Don't Stop Believin'.
There's only one problem. He can't try anything without the whole campus hearing it.
Don't be alarmed if there are songs playing at random times of the day. It's probably just me.
But this senior from Charlotte isn't just playing around.
You do have to have some type of competency in music.
That's why, like Brian on the tuba, the Master Ringer is typically in the school band. The Master Ringer also can't be afraid of heights. Brian has to climb up spiraling columns, through dimly lit pathways, and up a ladder. That's 172 feet to get past the point where UNC grads have left their marks. Brian says he's proud to carry on a tradition that makes UNC feel like home.
I'm glad for what I've done for the school.
He's the man with the bird's eye view, while the rest of us are just looking up.
You know, Claudia, it's a beautiful view from up there, and Brian gets to do it every week.
I'm kind of jealous. It's a really cool job.
I know. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching and have a good night.